Welcome to Imperial Kingdom. So let's do a quick deep dive to what happened with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. It was crazy, crazy fight. One of the best fights in a long time coming. 5 years we waited for this fight. We waited 5 years, and the fight just took so long. It almost seemed like it wasn't going to happen. Let's not forget all those situations that were happening during the build-up. We were waiting, all that other network that they were almost going to do it on. It took a long time. Fight finally came through. Bud went and fought. A Venetian, dealt with him. Spence had crushed Ugas, elite Ugas, crushed him. Spence had crushed Porter just before that. Now Porter's no play. Now Porter was running through folk before he met with what's his name? My dude, Kell Brook. So it wasn't no play at all. It wasn't any kind of play at all. They got there and it was crazy. It was a fab event. I stayed up all night for that one. I stayed up all night. And we just had a blast. The whole world watched that. So to now come back and start making excuses, talking about he was injured on the Andre Ward show. He said there was an interview with Spence, and initially he gave no excuses, but to come a couple seasons later and start saying he had an injury and his coach didn't even let him spar and this and that and he wasn't able to do anything. Come on, dude, that's long. That is long. Spence is a top. There's no need for that. Spence is a top fighter. I don't see the point in making all these excuses. They are nothing but excuses, especially for such a champion like Spence. Fighters don't need to do that. Why do you feel like you need to do this? It doesn't diminish him so much that he had a loss. It's not like, oh, your whole reputation is gone, you're nobody anymore, you're no longer a man. Of course not. He's still a man, he's still a champ. I still call him champ. But Bud had elevated himself and done what he had to do as a warrior in the game. Both warriors. There's no need to make excuses and discredit Bud, because that's all you're doing. You went in there and you took money, millions of pounds, not tens of pounds, millions of pounds. I say pounds because we're talking UK. Millions of dollars. Some people went in there and placed bets under the auspices of your promises. I'm the big fish, I'm the big dog, I'm gonna fry this dude, I'm gonna do this. And everything Spence said leading up to the fight. Remember Bud tapped in response and said, I'm gonna get active, I get active. Because Spence was giving it large. Spence was saying, yo, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. You can't now come and say, oh, actually, my rib was busted, this was busted, and I couldn't even spar with anyone. I couldn't do any sparring. You can't come and do that now. How are you going to do that? No. We can't accept that. That's wrong. That is absolutely out of the question. This is boxing, and you're professionals. Here's a key word, professionals. It's not a street fight. It's not in the backyard. It's not sibling squabbling. This is professional boxing. Professional. So you have to act like a professional in the ring. We're talking about in the ring. And everything that deals with, I'm not going to tell you how to conduct yourself, all that. That's not what we're talking about. Everyone has a different personality. You can express yourself anyhow. But when we talk about professionalism, what we're talking about is anything to do with the boxing itself. When talking about it, when operating Operational matters have to be dealt with in accordance with that. So in other words, you don't break rules, even in talking about it. I'm not talking about your behavior, how you act outside. That's not what we're talking about. You can do what you want. Like I said, everyone has their own personalities. I'm talking about professionalism in dealing with the business of the game. You can't come and say, I was injured after the fact. No, you can't do that. You can't come and say, oh, my rib was hurt. This was hurt. You say that before the fight, maybe, not after the fight. No matter what. Some people are saying, oh, well, that was the truth. Derek James came and said this. His trainer, coach, came and said that. That, oh, I didn't give him sparring or I gave him sparring. Whichever way, I don't want to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. Except Stans. I'm a fan. I wouldn't call myself a stan of anybody. I'm a fan. And sometimes I fully like certain people as well. Yeah, follow them, love certain people. But stan means you're gonna go against the real principles just because of this person. Like you're fanboying out too much. No. So I don't want to know the truth now just because I like Errol Spence. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. We can't play the game like that. We can't play the game like that. No. Have to. We have to speak the truth here. This is imperial kingdom. We don't mince words in that sense. Of course, we have respect for everybody who's due respect. So I'm not gonna disrespect Spence in this sense. But we're talking about the realities of the game here. It's totally discrediting Bud Crawford's accomplishment, or attempting to, by even mentioning it. You don't mention it ever. Don't say I was injured, I was this, I was that. No, you don't. You don't do that in professional boxing. No. It puts you into question. So why did you fight? You're saying you fought for the money? Because you took millions. Also, people bet based on the things you said. Remember, Bud now responded, saying, I get active, responding to what you said. So you took millions of dollars. So it's wrong to now come back and try to, there's no need. You haven't lost your reputation. People still respect you. People know, anyone with common sense knows a fighter is a fighter regardless. A fighter is a fighter regardless. You don't need to do that. Keep the integrity of the sport. And let's get it popping. Imperial Kingdom. Till next time.